why they should buy.
So are you saying that in this showroom right here, you've got an area for children?
Yes.
Maybe a little playpen?
Yeah, look, little play equipment and whatever for that. Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So that's also to offer a slightly different experience. But Shirley, it's interesting, I think, from a cultural point of view and really from an Asian perspective, the family, of course, is very, very important. So you can really see that the overall buying experience does involve the family.
Wow, that's interesting. And by the way, right now we're at the Mercedes-Benz showroom in Nangang, which is not far from RTI, from a radio station.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so are you saying that whereas maybe back home in Australia or in Singapore or Indonesia, that it's mostly just the father kind of, walking around and looking at cars instead of bringing the whole family? You think that there's more of this family element in Taiwan then?
I would say definitely
Really?
in Taiwan there is a stronger
interesting.
family feeling
Yeah.
in that regard. But I wouldn't say, Shirley, that the overall buying is only a male-dominated point.
Yeah.
But of course,
You think times have changed?
times have definitely changed, and you have a lot of successful female business people, a lot of successful, very dominated areas where you see a lot more female customers coming in, where historically there was more male customers. So overall there is a very good balance in there in that regard as well.
Wow. So what's the ratio for Mercedes-Benz? Are there more men looking at cars here, like in this showroom, or women? Or about the same? Or age-wise? I don't know.
It's in general. Look, it depends on the area and it depends on the demographics. So you'll see sort of more in the capital cities. Of course, there's a mix of male and female. So it's somewhere equivalent in that regard. Still a little bit more male in that regard, because we can only go on sort of finally the purchase and registration information, which is a little bit more onto the male. If you go into certain areas, then it's a little bit stronger male dominated, but overall that there is a good mix in that regard. We actually do events which are very female orientated, so we will invite a lot of our lady customers, female owners, to come into.
You do that on purpose?
Right.
Yeah?
To have purely female events, activities. We also do co-branding with companies that are female orientated or female consumer products, etc. Whether it's Chanel or Louis Vuitton or whatever in that regard. So we can sort of put a lot of emphasis onto our female customers as well. So it's not only just a one focus area.
What about age-wise? I mean, what age range for women who are interested in Mercedes-Benz?
That also
Where does it fall?
Yeah, look, that's also a little broad in some areas.
It depends on the model.
It depends on the model. Exactly.
Okay.
So you'll see that, for example, limousines, the S-Class series, the age bracket is slightly higher in that regard. But Mercedes-Benz as a brand and we as a company are focusing very much on new target groups. We have new generation compact cars. A-Class, B-Class, we've just launched in the Taiwanese market, the CLA, voted one of the most beautiful designed cars in the world in Germany, etc.
Okay.
So these are focusing very much on younger consumer segments. So to have an experience with the brand, the experience with the company at a much earlier stage in that regard. So demographics are moving more towards younger consumers, but we're still maintaining a very strong focus also on our traditional customers as well.
Oh, okay. Now, you were talking about SUVs.
Yes.
I think, I suppose maybe that's a trend in other countries too, and that Taiwan was probably slow in catching on. But I think SUV is popular, and likewise, we've got an SUV.
Yes.
I would say it's Korean car, but it's a 7-seater.
Yes.
And it's very comfortable to get into the car and get out of the car because it's higher.
Yes.
Do you think that's why there are more Taiwanese families buying SUVs? These because they're more for comfort.
It's definitely comfort. Comfort is one area. I think you also have more seating room, generally more luggage space. particularly in Taiwan, but in many Asian countries, golf is a very, very important leisure time. So you can fit more
you
golf
mean
bags.
the
game,
sport.
yeah, the sport golf, not the car, but golf in terms of getting out. So you see, particularly here, that there's so many wonderful golf clubs and facilities. So a lot of our customers also are playing golf in that regard. So you have the space to put in golf bags, additional sporting equipment. And I think the outdoor lifestyle is very strong here in Taiwan as well. So you have so many beautiful nature parks, the mountains, Yangmingshan, or in the center of the island, Taroko Gorge, etc., where people can get out. Cycling is very, very big here
Oh, you have
in
to be
Taiwan.
able to fit the bike.
Right. So I think from a practicality point of view, SUVs are becoming more popular as well in that regard.
So does that go also for Mercedes-Benz? I mean, that model
Yes.
is more in
Yes.
high demand?
Yes, we actually have several ranges here for Taiwan. M-Class, which is a main SUV, also very, very popular. GLK, which is a slightly smaller, but still an SUV in that regard, and also Geo, which is a much bigger luxury, if you like, the S-Class of the SUVs in the market. So we have quite a broad range available, but all very, very strong and well accepted here. I think also the infrastructure in Taiwan is very, very good, so people can get out and get into the countryside, get into their leisure activities much easier. So then to take all the equipment and whatever SUV is very interesting for people.
That is great. Well, I'm sure you're going to show us a model of
My
SUV
pleasure.
later.
Of course,
Yes.
of course.
Yeah. Well, is that what you have for your family car? Which model?
Yes,
do you have?
actually, I'm very lucky that I have the opportunity to experience really all of the models in that regard. But I enjoy, particularly if we go on holidays, SUV is my first choice. If in business around the city, probably a saloon is easier. Also for parking. Parking's very tight here in Taiwan, as you know.
Yes, yes.
But in that, or sometimes even the sports models to have a bit of fun. My son is also grown up, and he's 10, but he's a huge car enthusiast as well.
Sure.
So my daughter not so much, but my son is a huge car enthusiast. So as a special treat, sometimes bring home a nice sports car and then take the family for a drive in that. So.
Yeah, talking about your son. So like you, when you were little, you have this, this love for cars.
Yes.
So ever since you said as a graduate student, you've been into cars, so this is where you want to be, in cars.
Yes.
Wow, you must know so much about cars now. You know when you get into any vehicle, you know the feel of it. You just know whether it's a good car or not, right?
Yes.
This is something amazing about men. Is it just only men?
Do you think so? Look, Shirley, I think it's a fair statement to say that if you look at the cars today compared to 5, 10, 15